So I was looking for some perspectives about all the isms I've been talking about lately, or typing about really, because I was getting lost in the maze of the squiggles on the screen, and I just asked, what is information? What is it that we are spraying out there into the internet? Is there a difference between the information that I type into this keyboard and that appears on the screen and the type of information that the computer sends those words as? I mean, the digital code is different than the alphabet, right? One is just, it's binary, and the other is binary in certain ways, but is also circular. Language, at least when spoken, is obviously circular or dialectical. In other words, when I say something, it doesn't silence you, it beckons you. And the response to the call leads to a further call or response. You can't really say whether my call is really a call or actually a response, because when is the beginning? You say when you when you say your first word maybe as a child. Well, that is the beginning, but you don't remember it as the speaking self. So, there's a continuity between your speaking informational self and your genetic informational self, which was speaking you into existence way before you could speak. It was the basis from which you were grown, the basis as in the deepest memory, the deepest recess of your memory, the most unconscious, all the buried karma that your mind can't touch, but when it's especially aware of its depth. And it's this depth, I guess, that we've all been searching for, in a textual way, at least. And there's something significant about that. A textual philosophical exchange is meant to survive, for one thing. It's not just an interaction between people at a specific time, place, for a specific purpose. No, it's a chronicling of a particular event, so that it becomes almost infinitely meaningful. Whoever reads it is going to take something different from each essay. And to a certain degree, this still happens when we encounter each other in the flesh. And it almost seems as though this exchange, textually on the blogosphere, is the ultimate expression of spirituality, in the sense of being disembodied and contrary to the flesh, to contradict our own mortality by trying to inscribe our existence permanently into matter, because it's obvious biologically that we're a constant, or a perpetual process whose beginning can't be pointed out. We distinguish various stages of growth and development, but where do I begin, really? And where do I end? We, really, I'm talking about that self we posit in our language when we speak. I say I, that doesn't mean anyone else is saying you. You are I also. Not to me, but to you. So I searched the internet for some perspective on isms, and I came up with an excerpt from something William Owen Thompson wrote in 1987 in his book Specific Shift, and it's about pollution and the relationship between information and noise. And it seems to express, from the perspective of a cultural historian, what an activism is trying to suggest about biology of culture. So, I'll review it. Pollution, then, like a neurotic symptom, is a form of communication. To ignore the symptom, to thrust it to the side of awareness and push it back into the collective unconscious, is to perform the same action that created the pollution, the dissonance, the neurotic symptom in the first place. The end result of ignoring the communication is to stimulate it to the point that the dissonance becomes so loud that it drowns out all other signals. Ultimately, the ignored unconscious precipitates itself as the ultimate shadow of civilization, annihilation. This is another way of expressing what I have noted before. If you do not create your destiny, you will have your fate inflicted upon you. The creation of destiny, then, depends on maintaining a more permeable membrane between noise and information, unconscious and conscious, nature and culture. Modern civilization, however, is not surrounded by a light, permeable membrane, but a wall. The salinization of the soil is not seen or heard. The local technology, defined by the city's limits, created a problem area larger than its political area of control. And any cultural attempt to control an area rationally only seems to generate a shadow. The fascinating aspect of the cultural patterning of urban civilization is that the problem or crisis, the dissonance, can itself be read as the signal of emergence of the next level of historical order. Like a shadow that does not permit us to jump over it, but moves with us to maintain its proper distance. Pollution is nature's answer to culture. When we have learned to recycle pollution into potent information, we will have passed over completely into the new cultural ecology.